Okay, Peter, can you call the meeting to order? Make a little introductory statement.
All right. Call to order the meeting of June 10th, 2020 of the Springfield Board of License Commissioners at 5:34 p.m. in the Law Department Zoom room at Springfield City Hall. All commissioners are present except Commissioner Siciliano at the moment. So
all right,
we have a
call the roll, please.
Commissioner Cade.
Yeah, stay here, unmute.
Commissioner Cade here.
Commissioner Espinosa.
Unmute.
Here.
Commissioner Sene.
Present.
Commissioner Siciliano, absent, and Commissioner Signatores.
Thank you. Thank you all for participating as we try to keep government going in this COVID world and utilize the governor's modifications to the open meeting law to allow this. We have also invited, as an experiment, the civic associations, correct? The neighborhood groups. They were all, I think, on the email. But it doesn't look like any have joined us, which is fine. But let me just tell you all, this meeting is not being broadcast live on Focus, but it is being recorded. So we will post it tomorrow, so anyone who wants to watch it of the public can. This meeting is being held in 2 tiers, if you will. We're starting the meeting tonight, and it'll be continued to the next meeting. Tonight, we will have all the petitioners speak on behalf of their proposal, whatever's on the agenda. We then, as per our notice, and as will be put up on screen, probably periodically between matters, there will be the email address for the License Commission, a phone number for the License Commission. People can then email comments, email documents, email letters, leave a voicemail. They can snail mail something between now and the next meeting, and then we'll gather all those things and we'll put them into the record at the continued hearing. We won't be closing the record tonight. At the continued hearing at the next meeting, we will then put all of the materials, whatever comes in, whatever comments. The petitioners will have a chance to discuss or rebut or add to the presentation. We will then close the record. There'll be a deliberation and then a vote. So that pretty much explains what we're doing here. And I guess I'll turn it over to our chair.
Okay. The first order of business is approval of the minutes of the hearing of March 11th, 2020. Has everyone had a chance to review the minutes?
Yep.
Yes.
Yes.
Anybody have any suggestions, changes?
Looks good.
Okay, can I have a motion to approve?
Make a motion to approve.
All those in favor?
So, second.
Second, somebody?
Second.
All those in favor?
No.
Aye.
Roll call.
Okay, that'll be roll call. Commissioner Cade?
Yes.
Commissioner Espinosa?
Yes.
Commissioner Sene?
Yes.
Okay.
You just had your first remote vote. Congratulations.
Yay.
I apologize for not explaining earlier that part of the governor's thing is all votes, no matter what, have to be by roll call.
Okay. So the first 2 petitions we have on our agenda are petitions for new licenses. And as the commissioners know, we traditionally do not hear a petition for a new license until it has been voted on by the planning board and we have their recommendation. But because of this bifurcated, I like that word, this bifurcated meeting situation where we have the planning board is doing the same thing that we're doing, where they have a meeting, the issue is presented, and then there's public comment, And then they have a second meeting where they can take any public comment, and then they make their vote. That, of course, is dragging everything out. It's probably not the best. Dragging everything out longer, much longer than it should be. So for the first item here, the first petition is Top Shelf 2 on Chestnut Street. They have had their first meeting with the planning board, but the next meeting won't be until next Wednesday. So Attorney Days has suggested that in order to expedite this process, we have our first meeting, and then we can take in any comments, any recommendations from the planning board's meeting at our next hearing, which will be at the end of the month. So does everyone agree with that? Do we have any comments on that?
Just let's help these small businesses as much as we possibly can.
Yes? All right.
Agree.
So, we have to take a roll call on that.
No, I think
Okay. So the second one, however, is Ocean State Job Lot's package store license, and they have not gone to planning board. They will not go until, Attorney Edelman, is that next Wednesday? That's your first meeting?
That's correct, next Wednesday.
Okay, so how do we want to handle that one? Do we want to wait until they have their first hearing with planning board, or do we want to start tonight?
If we approve tonight and the planning board has a problem with it, then it doesn't go forward anyway.
Well, we're not approving tonight.
Okay,
We're not approving any petitions tonight.
first step.
We have to, this is the first step, just like with planning board. So our second step will be on the 24th. I don't think we can do anything with our calendar in front of us these days. So does anybody have an issue with that?
no,
No. All right, okay. So let's move on to the first petition, which is a petition for a new all alcohol general on-premise license for Top Shelf 2 at 238 Chestnut Street. And the proposed manager of record is Carlos Melendez. Is he present?
No,
No. Attorney Kelly?
the owner is Mr. Ramesh.
We traditionally speak to the manager of record in our hearing, however.
I'll try to have him for the next one. I think we're all still adjusting to this. He didn't get it downloaded, but he's been in front of you before. But just having said that, the owner is on, Mr. Ramesh. This is a petition for a nightclub, which, according to the governor's last ruling, should open sometime close to 2050. So this is on Chestnut Street. If you're from, what's that?
I said, you're wrong, it's 2049, they're gonna open.
Thank you. Yeah, if Governor Baker was running Massachusetts, if Governor Baker was running the country during World War II, we'd always having this meeting in German right now. But nevertheless, on Chestnut Street, so if you're familiar with that, you'll know that Mr. Ramesh currently owns and runs the bars on either side of this property. So this is going to be a bar in between two other bars that he already runs and operates. I don't think I need to introduce Mr. Ramesh to most of the commissioners. If all the commissioners, he's been in front of you for decades. So he is a nightclub operator and has been in the city for some time. I can't give you a lot of, they're going to do this, they're going to do that, because we had filed this petition back before, the virus hit. And this was due, we were going through all the processes then. And so right now it's still in the framework where he still has a lease in place. He is hoping to open whenever that it will be the case. But just so you're aware, this is going to be a hookah type bar that will be run in between two other bars that he represents. That I represent, that he also owns. So if you're looking at the parcel, it's kitty corner across from it's across the street from the old registry and kitty corner across from the old YWCA. So there is an adult entertainment license that's on the corner there, and that is Top Shelf 1. That is an adult entertainment license that Mr. Ramesh owns, but uses the adult entertainment license not traditionally, in the sense that it's not like the other adult clubs in Springfield where they're open and they're using their adult license all the time every night. This is an adult club that uses it very sparingly and uses it maybe for some hours, and maybe goes a month or two without it, and tries to kind of make it more of a nightclub rather than an adult entertainment club. On the other side of this club is another nightclub that also serves food, has pool, and is more of a place where you can do other things. This will be a spot that he will cater to people that just want to sit down, have a few drinks, and maybe smoke hookah. So that's really what his plan was for this spot. He's still going forward because he's already spent the money. He's already signed the lease. He's already done everything he can to get going. And then, this was supposed to be in front of you some months ago, and here we are. So he intends to open up if and when he ever can. I think that's the best I can present it for you right now. He has been in front of both neighborhood and planning. We were in front of the planning board last Wednesday, where they did the preliminary hearing like we're doing now. And I believe the vote on the planning board will be a week from tonight.
Okay. So we can't.
It's not a big place. The capacity itself, as you can see probably from the packet in front of you, is not particularly big. It's not a big place.
Was that an insurance agency in there?
Yes, it's exactly where that
Okay.
was. So
Okay.
where All-Star Insurance Agency was, that's exactly where it was.
Okay.
So if you've been in All-Star Insurance Agency, you know that it's not a particularly big, physical
Yeah.
layout. Exactly. Thank you.
Did you present to the planning board that this was going to be a hookah bar?
Yes.
You did? Oh.
Yeah, they asked where you were, by the way.
I was out taking a walk because I thought the meeting was at 6 o'clock.
Well, they were looking for you. I'm just going to put that out there on the record.
You can't bounce
Write that down, Mr. Pakula.
expect me to be there. So, all right, well, all right, I had a conversation with Bill Dromey, and he said he was not sure about what the use of this was supposed to be, and
Yeah.
the hookah didn't.
That was in the planning analysis, and I got that, and I told him like his it's a nightclub. Don't get me wrong, it's a nightclub. I'm not going to try to disguise it as being at TGI Fridays. It's a nightclub, but he's going to try to also do hookah.
Hookah and entertainment of some sort.
I mean, music.
Music, right?
Yeah, no, there's not going to be any live entertainment.
Okay, all right. I'll skip down past the questions we normally ask a manager. All these employees need to be tip certified. Mr. Ramesh, you know that? Unmute. Unmute.
Unmute, Paul.
Yes,
Yes, all right. And I congratulate you on your originality of the name.
thank you.
And what? Top Shelf 2. That's the Top Shelf. Yes.
A lot
Also,
of planning went into that.
what's that?
A lot of planning went into that.
Yes, I can see that. Yeah. Keep copies of the certifications, tip certifications for all the employees on file. The hours of operation are.
Well, right now they're going to be probably 9 p.m. to 2 a.m.
All right. And the neighborhood council had no problem with 2 a.m.?
The neighborhood council wanted him to agree to give up his adult entertainment license in exchange for a favorable vote.
Oh,
We
okay.
explained to them that probably would want to follow several laws.
All right. Commissioners, do we have any questions? This is a small location that used to be an insurance agency and now will be a hookah bar.
No questions.
Okay. And public input will come in over the next 2 weeks, right? And then we'll vote in 2 weeks. So continue. So if nobody has anything else, Mr. Ramesh, do you have any words of wisdom you'd like to share with us?
Nope.
No? Okay. I'll make a motion to continue this to June 24th then. Do I hear a second?
Second.
All those in favor? Oh,
Aye.
roll call. Hold on, I gotta get everybody's name. Commissioner Cade? Where'd he go? Oh, mute again. Commissioner
Yes.
Cade?
Yes.
Commissioner Espinosa?
Yes.
Commissioner Sene?
Yes.
Okay.
And signature?
And yes, all right, so 4 approved to continue.
All right, next one.
Move on. Paper here. We're gonna move on to a petition for a new annual beer and wine package store license for OSJL Spirits, DBA Ocean State Job Lot, located at 1686 Boston Road. Attorney Edelman?
Hi, yes, good evening. I'm corporate counsel for OSJL Spirits, and along with me is our store manager of record, Bob Kaiser. You are correct, we're here seeking a off-premise beer and wine license for the store location at 1686 Boston Road. The intended sales area for the beer and wine, at least for the display, is relatively small in the store location. It's only 170 square feet. And the intended stock area within the back room of the store is roughly 86 square feet. So that's a total square footage designated for beer and wine within the store of 256 square feet. The product will primarily be displayed on shelves and pallets. We do not have any intention at this time to bring in any coolers of any kind. We have a very strict policy and procedure as to training. All of our store associates, if the license is granted, would be licensed, tips trained. Right now, our policy is to train these associates within 45 days of their employment. And I should actually say it goes more than just training. It's the training and the actual certification within the 45 days. So it includes that waiting time to get them to get their actually tips card. But I'm sure, Mr. Kaiser, who's on, would be able to expand on that a little bit more. I think we get it done much sooner than that in our other locations where we hold a liquor license in Massachusetts. As I indicated, we have a strictly enforced alcohol policy, and this policy includes a zero tolerance of the sale of beer or wine to any underage person. We also ensure that any associate that's under the age of 18 does not handle the beer and wine. That includes stocking, engaging in any sales of the beer and wine. I believe right now, and again, Mr. Kaiser can hold me to my truth here, but I believe we only have one associate that's under the age of 18 in the store right now. But we do make sure that we record and ensure that anyone under the age of 18, again, does not handle the beer or wine. We utilize 2 methods to ensure that anyone presenting a valid photo ID, that it is in fact valid. And those methods are the ID checking guide as well as a black light device. Associates are required to use both of these devices when any customer, regardless of how they look, what their perception is in terms of the age of the customer, they are required to pull out the ID checking guide and the black light device and ID every customer. There's no exceptions to that. The product that we're looking to sell, the beer and wine, is a little unique, a little different. Most of the products are private label wine and beer that are produced and labeled for OSJL Spirits, or they're also closeout items. As of right now, that we don't have the intention, we never have had the intention to date to sell any of your brand name items. And this is pretty significant because it gives us a unique product that's not in direct competition to some of your local package store, or alcohol stores. I also think it's a unique factor in terms of underage, the sales to underage individuals. These aren't products, again, they're not refrigerated, and they're not your known products that, might appeal to an underage customer base. We are set up anytime that we aren't able to sell beer and wine. And as of right now, it's just for an hour on Sunday. We do open on Sunday at 8 or 9, excuse me. And I understand per Massachusetts law, you're not able to sell alcohol until 10 a.m. on Sundays. So for that 1 hour time period on Sundays, we do block off beer and wine sales so that customers cannot even access the wine and beer. And we also do that for the holidays. I believe as of right now, we're only open on Memorial Day, which is, I believe, a day that we're unable to sell alcohol. So again, it's blocked off on those days as well. We did appear on March 11th before the Indian Orchard Neighborhood Council, who did fully support our application for the beer and wine. And there was also City Council member Orlando Ramos provided a letter of support and recommendation for our application as well. I can provide some further information if there's any questions or concerns. And again, Mr. Kaiser is on the line as well to answer any questions.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Kaiser, can you unmute?
Yes, sir.
So you are the manager of the store and you will be the manager of record on this liquor license.
That's correct. Yes.
Okay, and this is your full-time job there?
Yes.
Yeah. And how many employees would you have that are going to be selling alcohol, do you know?
We currently have 35 employees. We're hoping to continue to hire with a goal of around 45.
Okay. Well, this is the Ocean State job law. Only 170 square feet of the store is dedicated to alcohol.
Correct.
So all of the employees that are going to be selling the alcohol, the cashiers, have to be tip certified. Now, do you do tip certification or do you have your own corporate certification program?
My understanding is they're all going to be TIPS certified.
Okay. We require that all employees selling alcohol and serving alcohol be tip certified, and that once they're certified, you have a copy of their certificate and you keep that on file.
Correct.
And that you keep that renewed. So if there is an instance of selling to minors, we're going to want to know, was that employee tip certified? We're going to want to see a copy of the certificate. So you need to make sure, 45 employees, that's a lot, that these people are certified and kept certified, and you have a copy of their current certification, okay?
Okay.
And you live where, sir?
In Holyoke.
Oh, good. All right. Have you ever been a manager of record for a liquor licensee before?
No, I haven't.
Okay. This is a step up in responsibility.
Yes.
You are answerable to this commission should there be any violation of Massachusetts liquor laws. In a package store, it's typically selling to minors. You understand and accept that responsibility.
I do. Yeah, I completed the TIPS training myself in February. And that was very emphasized.
Okay. And what are the hours of operation of OSJL?
Currently, we open at 9 a.m. and close at 7 p.m. Our typical hours before the pandemic was opening at 8 and closing at 9.
Okay. So we'll go back to 8 to 9 at some point?
At some point, eventually, yes.
Okay. Commissioners, any questions?
Will this be the only store that you're managing, or do you manage any other stores?
No, just this store.
Okay. And do any of your other stores, I'm not familiar with your stores, so forgive me, but do your other stores have beer and wine licenses in the other communities?
None locally. There are a few in Massachusetts.
That do? Okay.
Attorney Edelman, isn't there one in Palmer?
There is not one in Palmer. We do have 7 other locations. Those locations are Falmouth, Medford, Randolph, Sturbridge, Westboro, Leominster, and Fairhaven.
So this will be your big venture into Western Massachusetts.
Yes, it will.
Well.
And attorney, do they have liquor licenses at those stores?
All of those stores have wine liquor licenses.
They do, okay. Thank
Yep.
you.
Absolutely.
Any other questions? No? Okay. Well, I think we're done with this portion of it. Well, I'll make a motion that we continue this until June 24th. Commissioner Kay,
Yes.
Commissioner Espinosa,
Yes.
Commissioner Sene,
Yes,
and I vote yes as well. All right, we will see you on June 24th, and good luck with your presentation to the planning board next week.
Thank you very much. We appreciate it.
Good night.
Have a great night.
Thank you. Good night.
Okay. The next one, item on the agenda is a petition for change of corporate name for NEC OPCO 1 Incorporated, which I'm glad you're changing the name. I didn't like that. So,
You don't like that?
so Janice, you are the manager of record, correct?
I am, yes.
Okay, so there's nobody here from corporate.
No, no,
You're the manager of the store.
yes.
Right, okay. So we have an application to change the corporate name and the DBA from NEP OPCO, OPCO 1 Inc. to nice Nuria Energy Retail Incorporated.
Yes,
Change the DBA from Springfield Ethel Roberts number 4057
57,
to Nuria 93 West Broad Street.
yes.
And that's it. Commissioners, any questions?
no, you came before us, right, when you were,
Yes.
okay, that's what I thought. No? Thank you.
Anything else? Now, do we have to continue this one?
Does this require a public hearing?
No.
I'm sorry,
No.
a public, no. So you can vote on this one.
All right, good.
There's a motion to approve. And
Okay.
then a roll call.
I make a motion to approve the corporate name change and the DBA change. Is there a second?
Second.
Commissioner K, that was from Commissioner Espinosa. Commissioner K,
Yes.
Commissioner Espinosa,
Yes.
Commissioner Sene,
Yes,
and I vote yes. Okay, and that is it. Your name is
Thank
changed. We'll mail a new license. Is that what we do? We'll mail a new license once we have the corporate name and DBA change recorded.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thanks for coming.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Okay. Next item is an informational hearing for Naismith's Pub and Pretzel Incorporated, located at 211 Worthington Street, for no operating without a manager of record. Mr. Kenny, can you unmute, please? Attorney Safransky.
Mr. Kenny, as you know, this meeting is going to take place in March, and circumstances required us to continue it. But we had information back in March or earlier that there was no manager of record, your manager resigned or something of that nature for 211 Worthington Pub. So this is an informational hearing where you would explain the circumstances of that to the commissioners and let us know what your plans are for getting a manager of record, or if you've done that already.
Yep, absolutely. Thank you, everyone. Our manager was Carla Rossi, who we were very excited about having, and she did actually a really great job for us. And she kind of surprised us a bit when she decided she wanted to move on and do something else. So my wife and I, Elisa, reluctantly accepted her resignation, and we were in preparation for this meeting. We were trying to backtrack because it's been a bit. But I believe it was in the late February timeframe that Carla had mentioned that she wanted to move on and do something else. We agreed, and I don't think it was a couple weeks later, we fast and furiously found a new manager, and we were training him. And then it was early March. We had this coronavirus situation. We closed the restaurant. So here we are. The good news is we have identified the new manager. We literally have been working very hard to find the right person. We've been challenged candidly to find real high quality bar management, restaurant managers that want to work with us in a startup capacity, because as I'm sure you folks know, startups, you don't open the door and the place is packed. So it's been a challenge, but I think we have finally found the right restaurant bar manager to join us. Lisa and I, my wife, met her, oh gee, it was less than a week ago, and finalized our agreement. And we're actually meeting her on Monday at the restaurant bar. And we're going to begin the extensive training. She is tip certified. She has a lot of experience. She was the manager at the Log Cabin for the last 4 or 5 years. And she's just a really sharp young lady that I think is the solution for our restaurant management woes that we've had really for the last 12 months. It's been quite a challenge, but we're excited about bringing her on board and obviously presenting her to you and the committee very shortly, hopefully for approval. Her name, by the way, is Natalie Patterson, and she's a very impressive young lady. 4-year college degree, and we're just very impressed with her. So I think she's going to do a great job for us.
All right, so you're going to submit a change of manager application to the board soon?
Yes, sir.
Right.
Oh, are you going to pursue the patio license for the summer?
You know, we're considering it. We're not sure. We have conversations ongoing with Chris Russell and others, the folks next door, the Keiths next door at Theodore's, and we're trying to understand if that's a viable solution short term, or do we wait until the next phase where we can open, and if it's 25% occupancy or 50%. We're willing to work at 25% just to get going again, because obviously it's very painful to be closed at the moment for the last 3 or 4 months. So we're anxious to get going. We're not sure the patio is the answer, because we don't know enough about that yet, but we're trying to learn on the fly what that would look like.
Have you seen the application?
We just received a copy of it.
We received application online, yes.
Several of our licensees downloaded it over the weekend, and we got them on Monday. So they're figuring it out. It's not that complicated. The Keiths are doing it with
Okay.
So I don't have any extra room other than that, but it might. I'm just curious whether you are. So the restaurants are not going to be allowed to open until phase 3.
Correct. That's what we've been told. Yeah.
Yes.
And the question is when is phase 3 as far as indoor dining?
Mm-hmm.
And I think the original plan was each phase would occur in about a 3-week period. So our hope would be, if we can, obviously we need to get Tanya on board, get her properly trained and assimilated with the restaurant. But our hope would be that indoor dining would be allowed in some capacity in the July timeframe, which we're fine with.
Oh, all right. Okay. So by then, we will have approved a change of manager. Okay.
Most appreciated. Thank you.
Yes. All right. Commissioners, any questions on this?
Nope.
No.
Okay. Satisfied with this explanation?
Yes.
All right. Well, we hope to see you soon with a change of manager application, and we'll have another one of these Zoom meetings probably, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Great. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Appreciate your support.
You're welcome.
I make a motion to continue this issue generally. Commissioner Cade, do I have a second? Somebody.
Second.
Commissioner Cade,
Yes.
Commissioner Espinosa,
Yes.
Commissioner Sene.
Yes.
Okay, we will see you shortly. Good luck, Ed.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Have a good evening.
Bye.
You too.
The next item on the agenda is a pre-hearing conference for Center Stage, and Attorney Kelly has asked for a continuance on that because of the notification of the issue. So I'm
Yeah, I'm having trouble getting Joanne on Zoom, and she had an issue. So, I mean, they're not opening in anytime soon, if at all. So, I'd ask for the next time you meet, I'll make sure she's on Zoom.
okay. So we don't. Are we continuing to the 24th?
Yeah.
Is she available on the 24th, Danny?
I believe so. Yeah. Yeah.
So I would make a motion to continue this pre-hearing conference to June 24th. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Okay.
Yep. Yes.
Yes.
Commissioner Sene?
Yes.
Yes. To the 24th.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Next item on the agenda is review of seasonal liquor license renewals. And we have a big list of 2. And the first, the Elks on Tiffany Street and Clubhouse Cafe, which is that little beer shack on the Franconia Country Club. And I do, Alicia, do you know where Veterans is? I think I asked and I forgot the answer. The Veterans should have a seasonal too. Do they renew it every year or is it every other year? Every other. So maybe that's why we aren't hearing Veterans. So anybody have an issue with renewing the Elks license or the Clubhouse Cafe's license?
No issue.
No. All right. I make a motion then to approve the renewal of the 2020 seasonal licenses for the Springfield Lodge of Elk 61 located at 44 Rear Tiffany Street and Clubhouse Cafe located at 1617 White Road. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Commissioner Kay?
Yes.
Commissioner Espinosa?
Yes.
Commissioner Sene?
Yes.
Yes. Thank you.
And, Madam, Mr. Commissioner, if I could just interject something with respect.
Speak up so that we get recorded.
Okay. Hold on. I can talk very loud. So, commissioners, what I wanted you to know is that they also applied for the temporary license, Tiffany Street.
Oh, the Elks.
Yeah. And what they wanted to do was to open the bar in the pavilion that's down the.
Yeah.
But what they were told is that they can't do that, right? Because we're not having liquor outside. They wanted to know if they could open that bar that's down there. So I think what they're planning to do is set up a tent on the side of, where that first parking lot is, to be able to do the outdoor. They're not before us tonight, but I wanted to communicate that they're in the process of doing it.
So they can bring the alcohol out to a patio, but they can't store the alcohol out there? Is that the issue?
Well, the issue is we're not having any outdoor bar service.
Bar service.
Right. So, they have that bar down there. They wanted to stop that and be able to, which is practical. I mean, it's practical. Right. But because they can't have outside service, I think what they're going to elect to do is put a tent out there. Instead, and bring the liquor from inside and serve it. Yeah.
And they would have to have food, right? Is that correct? Or not?
Have to have it available.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Okay. So we're done with the seasonal licenses and let's move on to these temporary expansion of premise licenses. And we have several of them. I think I counted 14 or so. And the license commission off Ed, Alicia, Anna, Carrie put together a application for this license. I don't know if you've seen it. It's downloadable from the city's website in case you haven't seen it. And it asks what are you going to do, where are you going to do it, what's the patio going to look like, and then it has to be reviewed by the commission, planning, DPW, building, health, police, fire. And in order to, I guess, expedite this process, the licensees were allowed to open. That's correct. So the licensees were allowed to open. Now, everyone or just people who have submitted a package? Everyone. All right. So we have licensees that are open that haven't submitted an application. That's correct. Okay. But we're reviewing the ones that have submitted an application. And when Anna sends out the notice, sends it to all of us involved in reviewing the package, and she does, or you or somebody does a preliminary review. It's not a very big package, so they're only looking for certain things. And a lot of them I have seen have a common theme, like they need a workers' liability and liquor liability that includes the expanded patio area. That's correct. And that is missing from most of these packages. And most of them have not proven that they have control or permission to use the patio area that they're proposing. It's not their typical patio area. So some are expanding into parking lots, into the streets, wherever they can to get outside and begin service. So they have to show that they have control or permission to use that area. So normally with a patio, that patio area would have to be leased to them. In part, they would have to be paying a lease on that area so that they have exclusive use and control of that patio. But in this instance, I'm getting out of this, correct me if I'm wrong, that they are being allowed to provide a permission from the owner of this area that they are allowed to use this until November 1st. That's correct. Okay. So I'll give you an example, and I was very impressed that Christopher Arulata managed to get his done pretty good. He was the star. I think he was one of the first ones who did it, and he did a really good job. Christopher is at Christopher's Tavern in Five Town Plaza, and he has a patio that's approved in the back. We approved it a few years ago, and he's never really used it because it's in the blazing sun in the afternoon. It's sweltering.
In the back is where all the deliveries, the big trucks go through, right?
The dumpsters are back there.
Yeah.
Lovely view of the wood. And so he's never really used it, but it is licensed. It's part of his license. And his question to Alicia and I are, I'm approved. Can I use this? Yes, you can. You might want to make a few alterations to the scenery. So his proposal was to put a tent out there, an illuminated tent. In addition, back there, he also wants to use part of a sidewalk in front, which is covered, and expand to in front, forefront or two that is empty at the time, and rope off the area, put a couple tables out there, and he provided a letter of permission from the landlord to do that. And so who knew that there's a tent permit? We didn't know you need a tent permit for a tent. So, and you need an electrical permit to illuminate said tent. So we learned, Steve Desolé, that there's a tent permit. So he's got to get that. So other than the tent permit and the electrical permit, he's pretty much good to go. I believe Chris Signoli made a comment about putting up some sort of barrels or something so that somebody doesn't drive into his diners from the parking lot. So what is the process? Do we have a process yet for assuring that all of these goals have been met?
Well, what we're going to do is, we're kind of coming at the back end, right? But what we're going to do is verify that they in fact have all the things that we asked them to do. So That's the goal above liquor. So as Peter points out, there are 15 applicants, right? So the rest of the city is allowed to open. So candidly, the challenge is going to be, right, is to ascertain who those non-applicants are, right? And that's going to be drive-bys and just seeing, I guess, people outside. And in the course of that, what we're asking people to do is to satisfy all the requirements we asked them for after we got their application. Liquor liability insurance, right? COVID compliance, all those things that are kind of inherent in the application process, but we're letting them open and kind of backdooring meeting the requirements.
Okay. So I'm looking at Christopher's here, and Anna has done yeoman's work. I have to congratulate Anna on the review of these applications as they come in. So she'll send them out and she'll say workers' compensation liability page is missing, liquor liability insurance is missing, the floor plan has to be satisfied by DPW and police, and he has to show that he has a leak. That letter is in there. And so I printed off all of these as she sent them, and I wrote in the comments as the various departments are commenting. So DPW says he needs traffic cones and barrels, and building wants the tent permit and the electrical permit. So I'm going to go through this list and let you know how, if anybody made any comments. Some of them were just approve, approve, approve. So we have one from 99 on Boston Road, and they have their own parking lot, right? So, or they're right outside, Boston Road's right outside of Eastfield Mall. It's all on private property, and everybody was good with that one, okay? And 99 on Liberty Street is in Springfield Plaza. DPW had a comment on making it the serving area ADA accessible. It has to be 6 feet wide or something like that. And other than that, you know, the typical workers' comp and that kind of thing that we'll follow up on, but no big deal. 350 Grill is going to expand into their parking lot. And they're going to have a tent, so of course they need the tent permit and the electrical permit. Other than that, just a few things that we're missing out of the package. Christopher's, we already discussed. City Line, now City Line, if you're not familiar with it, is up on the Chicopee line on Ribbon Avenue. And we got comments from Phil and from DPW, from Chris, with concerns that it's in a residential neighborhood. There's a house right next door. And they're requesting a 12 p.m. closing time, 12 a.m. closing time, and they suggested an earlier closing time, maybe 11 p.m. So what are your thoughts on that?
If I remember correctly, we've dealt with that before because of the residents, right?
Yes.
There's been Browns back there outside that back door. That's the only comment I have. I mean, if they can meet all the city requirements and stuff. I don't know.
Something just moved in front of your camera there, Ron.
What's that?
There's something in front of your camera. There you go.
Oh, my papers. Yeah, that's all I would say. I know we've had problems with the neighbors, but if they can meet, that's some pretty long list of requirements. I guess if they can meet them.
To let you know, City Line also applied for a permanent expansion into this new patio area. So we will also be hearing in a few weeks the permanent license for this patio. This is the temporary one that's only good. These are only good to November 1st, by the way,
Okay.
just to get them open and running in the summer. And I don't know how many tables they can actually put out there. The patio's not that big. So do we want to close them earlier than midnight? Is anybody in favor of that? Or are you going to go with midnight? Maybe.
I'm in favor
Of what, ma'am?
closing at 11 earlier.
Andrew?
If I can just
Yes.
share,
Yeah.
Peter. So what I can tell you is that Barry and I were just joking about it. I get constant complaints about City Line on a regular, right? So city line, especially where that patio sits, this guy's window apparently is right there because he records and he sends me videos and he complains. He never wants to come in, but he complains about the busyness and he can't sleep and the whole bit. So I don't think it's a bad recommendation to close it a little earlier than midnight. If not, I imagine I'm gonna be inundated with complaints.
I agree with Rosa. I would suggest that also.
Andrew, thoughts?
Yeah, 11 o'clock is good. 11 p.m. is good.
And honestly, when the application came in, I went to the GIS and crossed my fingers and was hoping Les moved, but he didn't. He's still there. So I don't think midnight would be, go over too well with him. All right, so we have Ciro's in the south end, and if you recall, Ciro's has a little patio in the back.
Yeah.
And they have never used it, as far as but they're going to now. And there were, which is good, they're not going to have to go out to the street. There were concerns when we originally granted this license from Father White at Mount Carmel that they, not make a lot of noise while services are going on a Saturday night. Is my understanding that entertainment is not allowed under this permit? Is that correct? That's correct. Okay, so there won't be any music out there. It'll just be the frivolity of the diners. So hopefully they will not disturb the church, but if they do, we can take action on that, correct?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Nadeem, right down here, is expanding his patio into property owned by Financial Plaza. So Nadeem is going to have to provide at least a letter of permission from Financial Plaza that he's allowed to use that area. But he's off street and he's over here in this courtyard right between the bank building and his restaurant.
Yeah, he also needs to provide.
And I believe he was encroaching on that area as it was, right?
Yeah, he's actually even more now, 30 feet. That's be under that bird. Oh, the bird's not. Is the bird still there? The bird chicken. Yeah, the chicken. On each, yes, Attorney Days was reminding us that on each one of these, the liability and workers' comp is an issue. So they find that on almost every single one of these.
I got a question for entertainment for Nadeem's. Are they going to have entertainment, or is this for all licensees? No entertainment for all licensees.
Correct, unless, Andrew, they have permission to have entertainment on the patio as a regular course of business. So we're not adding any entertainment licenses.
Okay, because I know they had entertainment before, live music.
They have, on certain evenings, they'll have live music out there, yes.
Yeah, okay, all right.
And sometimes on some mornings as I'm walking through there at 8 o'clock, Evan is serenading us with cool jazz. Nathan Bills is expanding off of their deck, and they will need a patio, a tent. So they need the tent permit. And they're also on their sidewalk in the front. So they will need to provide permission from their landlord that they can expand off the deck into the parking lot and in front of the restaurant. Pallet out on Boston Road is using their parking lot. They're not getting a tent, so I'm guessing dining won't be available every evening there. And there were some comments from DPW about Jersey barriers or planters because there's a drive-up lane or something, and they want them protected from that. That's up to DPW to certify. Sophia's on Boston Road, Breckwood and Wilbraham, across from Winnick, wants to expand on their sidewalk and a bit into the parking lot, I think. So there were control of premises issues, and DPW wants parking spaces coned off. I don't know, sometimes it's a Jersey barrier, sometimes it's a cone. How cone is going to protect you, but
I think the ones that are closest to, they don't want cars parking there, so wider berths. You know how like the parking kind of goes up.
Okay.
I think that's all the issue.
All right. Student Prince is probably the biggest expansion. They have by Fort Street. And they're putting a tent on Fort Street, so it's there already. So they need a tent permit. And
So, hey, Peter, is Fort in Worthington now closed?
Fort is.
Fort is. How about Worthington?
No.
They're not.
No
Okay.
permission to close it. The only thing is, I think Keith at Theodore's wants to, needs an occupancy, and I guess he's submitted a request to occupy the parking spaces. There's like 5 parking spaces in front of his place. And I think planters have been put up there.
No, and I just drove by there,
Oh.
so I know. But
I ain't going to sit in the street there.
Yeah, it's in the street, but it's not really secure. They have a rope up. But I
Oh,
mean,
a rope.
if I wanted to veer my car over there, I'd take it out that whole row. So
Wow.
if that street's gonna stay open, they've gotta have something more impactful, like planters or
Yeah.
that little rope thing. It's, it makes it clear to you that you probably shouldn't be over there, but if you're,
I'm gonna text Chris right now.
if you're intoxicated and you're not paying attention,
Sure. Yeah.
forget about it. I mean, you can take out that whole row.
So they want to take out 9 parking spaces. And DPW did have issues with Jersey barriers or something. Well, we're protecting them in a rope to protect those parking spaces. The Jersey barriers are not small, right? So once you put the Jersey barrier, I don't know how much space you have for service for your, but it's something. So they're gonna have to work that out with DPW. They did have, they approached the Springfield Parking Authority for permission to use the 9 parking spaces, and they were given that permission. So, as you know, when we approve a patio, the patio and the governor's advisory issued on June 1st said that they can open these patios, but they must abide by the patio guidelines of the ABCC. And one of the guidelines is that the licensee, the patio must be contiguous with the licensed premises. My question was, can we approve patio, the 9 parking spaces, with a sidewalk going right through the middle of it, and pedestrians walking through this part of the patio? And there is no intention to close off the sidewalk.
What, for where?
For Theodore's.
No, it's closed. There's changes on there.
The sidewalk?
What?
I just left it. I mean, I didn't go
You
there.
can't walk by?
What a nightmare that's gonna be.
On the sidewalk in front of you.
You can't do that. I'll put that with Chris too.
Okay, well, I emailed Chris and I said, I'm guessing you're not going to allow them to close the sidewalk. And he said, no, I'm not. So, I mean, what if somebody was in a wheelchair if they wanted to get on the sidewalk? What do they do? They can't go out the street. So, just for the license issue, I reached out to Ralph Sacramone from the ABCC today, and I explained the situation, and I sent him the diagram showing that the sidewalk would still be open to pedestrians. And I said, is this an issue as far as complying with the patio guideline, that the licensed patio has to be with the licensed premises? And he gave me a very short answer, which was, Peter, as long as your board gives them permission to use the sidewalk.
It's reasonable and proper.
Now, when he says them, does he mean the pedestrians, or does he
The issue
cross
is
the
carrying
sidewalk?
alcohol
Yeah.
across the sidewalk.
Yeah.
What'd you say, Lisa?
Yeah.
So if you think that's reasonable, probably. If you don't,
I'm hesitant, but that's the only answer for them. They have nothing. They're just an alley in the back, which is probably even worse than the street. So, I'm okay with it.
I ain't drinking in the alley or in the street.
I'm not sitting there at all. That little rope, I'm not doing it.
So we're clearing up the issue with tables on the sidewalk though, Ed? Is that?
Yeah, I told
Yeah,
you,
all right.
I mean, it's, if you can't walk on the sidewalk, that's a problem.
There were, so I passed by there probably about 5, and there are tables there. There are people standing outside, so I don't know if they're doing takeout also, but the tables are on the sidewalk. Then they have it coordinated. There's no tables out there.
Oh,
They're just on the sidewalk.
Oh, so what, people can walk in the street to go around the sidewalk? Is that what it is?
Yeah, they can. Let's see. Yeah.
But there's a curb there, so if you're in a wheelchair.
Yeah.
Okay.
Not only that, that's a lot of people wandering around in the street now. Like people are getting out of bars with a little toot on and driving away. That's
No, I agree with you, Colonel. That's not safe. Like when I saw
not
that.
safe at all.
No. Oh, okay, so that needs work. That's not ready for prime time.
Yeah.
Texas Roadhouse at Five Town Plaza is all set. They have a few, the typical issues. They're gonna get a tent, so of course you know what they need. And Pizzeria Uno on West Columbus Avenue is using their patio. So if you have a patio, an existing patio, you still need to get this patio permit. So other than the workers' comp and stuff, they're good. So does anybody have any questions about this?
No.
Oh,
No. All right.
Nope.
So I would make a motion to approve all of these with the only change being the change of hours for City Line being 11 p.m. rather than 12 p.m. So I make a motion, I'll go through the list, to approve 99 Restaurant Boston Road, 99 Restaurant Liberty Street, 350 Grill, Christopher's Tavern, Ciro's, Nadine's, Nathan Bill's, Palette, Sophia's, Student Wood, Seaport, House, and Uno's Chicago Grill, as submitted, assuming that they provide the necessary things that are missing, and to also approve City Line Cafe with a 11 p.m. closing time. Do I hear a second?
Second,
Commissioner Cade,
yes.
Commissioner Espinosa,
Yes.
Commissioner Sene.
yes.
Yes. All right. And these don't have to come back, right? This is done, right?
One question, Peter. Is there a deadline for the submission of the applications?
No, they don't
Okay.
even require a public hearing, but I think we all thought that for the first ones, we should sort of review them so people know what the issues are and everyone should have an idea of what's going on. I'm not going to be surprised if you all get calls about them,
Yes.
one way or another. And, so we're deliberating this in a public meeting so that people can understand what some of the concerns are that we have. But if these come in front of Peter and Peter reviews it, he can sign off, or any one of you if you weren't here and, we needed somebody to approve.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
So, we want to just make sure everyone's in the loop.
Sure. Thank you.
Should we, are you saying then we're not going to have to continue this hearing these?
You certainly can. You don't, public hearing is not required. But until we are comfortable with them, and we know what's going on and we get a better handle, maybe you want it. That's up to you. But, you can allow them to open and then do like we did here, retroactively, you're saying this is okay. That's up to you. But again, realize that we are not, and the governor has said, there's no requirement that there be notice to abutters. And so that's why City Line was a good one, because we've had issues with that before out And I'm not going to be surprised that we're still going to get issues on that. So that might come before us for something.
I'll share the video with you on Monday.
I don't know, to me, I would make a recommendation that the normal ones that come in, that you guys handle down there unless by exception you think we should hear it. But I would not inhibit these people from getting back making money as soon as possible if you guys think they meet the requirements. I don't know about the other commissioners, but I'd rather see that, you guys review it and let them start making money again.
Do you want to be included on the email list when these new applications go out, so you can at least be aware of?
Yeah, that would be fine, sure. Just in case somebody questions us, we'll say, yeah, we saw it anyway.
I know you will all get questions, you'll get texts, phone calls, emails, hey, what's going on over here? And you don't want to be, oblivious.
Right.
So yes, application.
That's good.
Yes,
Right, that's great.
Perfect, yeah.
Forewarned, you're going to get a lot of emails, because you get the original I get the original application, then I get an email from Bill and from planning, building, they all reply. So you're going to get a lot. You can probably just delete all the follow-up ones unless they have an issue, but you're going to get a lot of emails.
Listen, I'm just looking forward to driving through the back parking lot at Christopher's, grabbing a beer out the tent flap and driving away.
There you go. Do we have any other issues, any questions? No. All right. Next regular meeting is Wednesday, June 24th, and I make a motion to adjourn. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Commissioner Cade,
Yes.
Espinosa,
Yes.
Commissioner Sene.
Yes.
Yes. Thank you for attending the first virtual meeting.
Yeah, good job. It went very well.
Thank you very much. Have a good evening, everybody.